welcome back to the inside of my head. Jurassic World Dominion is on the horizon, so let's recap the Jurassic World franchise. So as far as soft reboots go, you could do way worse than Jurassic World. Matrix Resurrections, to name just one. Because so often these things just stink of a cash grab, a blatant attempt to sell an old franchise to a new audience by cramming in a bunch of newer, younger characters, whilst treading very carefully to avoid wrecking the existing continuity. And that was exactly my feeling before stepping into the theatre to watch Jurassic World, but I actually found it surprisingly good. Anyway, the end of the Jurassic World trilogy is on the horizon, with Dominion coming out real soon, and I am really pumped for that. But for now, I just wanted to do a quick look back on the franchise. I was tempted to go all the way back to Jurassic Park, as that was a really formative movie for me. I might have to come back to that, maybe when Camp Cretaceous Season 5 comes out. Anyway, you guys all know the plot of Jurassic World, so I won't do much of a plot recap. I just want to talk through the things that I really loved about this movie, and the things that kind of bugged me, and there were a few. But suffice to say that 20 years after dinosaurs were brought back from extinction, dinosaurs have become a little like yesterday's news, and with spiraling running costs and the ever-present corporate quest for increasing profits, the theme park has had to up the ante in terms of attractions. As the professor says, people want bigger, scarier, more teeth, and cooler. So he went off playing God again to create even more likely to kill us all abominations. So going into this movie, my big worry was in all the stuff about hybrid dinosaurs. At the time, I knew there had been talk about fusing dino DNA with other things to create these monstrosities, and there had been some concept art floating around showing these half people, half dinosaur soldiers, and I knew that Jurassic World had definitely taken a step in that direction, so I was a little worried. Not that I'd object to seeing this, like I'd probably quite enjoy it in fact, but not in this franchise. Like I was one of those guys who thought, well, dinosaurs are amazing enough as it is. Do we really need to start fucking with them and making them even more fantastical? And as well as that, the shots of Chris Pratt on his motorbike riding into battle with the raptors struck me as a little bit like, far-fetched. And this could easily turn into something like Dino Riders. Remember that one? But as it turns out, I needn't have worried about all this stuff because it was some of my favorite stuff in the movie. Chris Pratt's relationship with the raptors in particular. I still don't buy that you could domesticate these things. I know that you see people cozying up to polar bears and tigers and stuff, but I don't know, I never really get the sense that people bond with reptiles, or that reptiles bond with humans is more what I'm trying to say. I do know somebody who has a pet snake, and this person was telling me once that on several occasions the snake would find its way out of its tank into her bedroom, and she'd wake up with this thing lying beside her. And if that's not terrifying enough, apparently they do this to measure whether you would fit in their belly. Anyway, this person would insist that they do get a bond with their pet snake, but I don't know. Anyway, in the case of the movie, that relationship between Chris Pratt and the raptors is probably the best thing in the movie in my book, precisely because you never quite know if you can trust these meat-hungry killing machines, so you're always on the edge of your seat because one false move from this guy and he is a snack. The Indominus Rex was amazing, actually. I, for one, actually really liked the Spinosaurus in Jurassic Park 3. I just thought that it didn't have the same impact as the T-Rex had. And my problem was more with the way that they used it, like it was just there to one-up the T-Rex. And I'll definitely be hoping to see at least a cameo from this guy in the new movie. And I definitely thought the Indominus Rex was just going to be, we've got an even more powerful villain than the more powerful villain from last time. But damn, that thing was fierce. It was scary looking. It was smart, seemingly using diversionary tactics and even ripping out its own tracking chip. How did it know how to do that? And the thing is, it didn't rip it out as soon as they put it in. It ripped it out at the opportune moment after it got the chance to escape. Because it was raised in isolation, it was utterly psychotic, killing all of these, what are they, Apatosaurus? Just for fun. It killed its own sibling. That's harsh. It's able to hide its own thermal signature. That's handy. And of course, in one of the best scenes in the movie, we see how it can camouflage. I thought it was really interesting that it got the camouflage almost by accident, as a side effect. As Dr. Wu explains, the Indominus was given cuttlefish DNA to accelerate its growth, but as a side effect, it also inherited its ability to change its skin cell color to match its surroundings. And that's the fact that's at the core of this movie. That just like in the original, where they filled gaps in the dinosaurs' genomes with DNA from other species, they've just been doing the same thing here, but getting a little bit more adventurous with their choices of what to splice in. But probably the most important thing about the Indominus Rex was the fact that it had raptor DNA in there. And that might have given us the most interesting part of the movie for me. This kind of split loyalty between the Raptor Pack and Chris Pratt, and then the Indominus who steps in to become the new alpha, like a raptor-y love triangle. That's weird. So yeah, Indominus Rex, badass. The Mosasaurus did not disappoint one bit. I mean, I was worried about how they were going to integrate such a large aquatic creature into the scenes. Like, what were they going to be going around in a submarine or something? But they did it really well with this enormous alpha predator leaping out of the water to show that it's not just a threat in the water, but it can reach you out of the water as well. And of course, we got to talk about the ending. The appearance of the old favorite Rexy, Bryce Dallas Howard, with the flare giving it such a cool welcome back moment, and the fight with the Indominus Rex was absolutely epic. I'm really glad that the T-Rex was saved by Blue as well. For a second, I flashed back to JP3 where the Spinosaurus snapped the T-Rex's neck and... Yeah, sure, we know the Spino was probably more powerful, but nobody wants to see the T-Rex die. But my point is that the moment where the Raptors turn back to being good guys, and then the moment where Rexy appears, and then the moment where Blue saves Rexy and the two team up against the Indominus, and then the moment where the Mosasaurus leaps out of the water was just like great moment after great moment, and it was a wholly satisfying ending. As for the things that bugged me, well, surprise, surprise, the Humi characters were a mixed bag. Chris Pratt was brilliant, that's kind of a given these days. Bryce Dallas Howard was fine, I guess. But it was the kids who annoyed the shit out of me, especially the older one who was more interested in girls than dinosaurs. Oh, boo-hoo, he can't say I love you back to his adoring wovums. I'm definitely going to sympathize with him. He just came across as like superior. Oh, I'm too cool for this place. And yeah, I know, I get it. At that age, you can kind of get wrapped up in yourself and become kind of a selfish, entitled prick. But you should still be considerate enough to realize that this is something you're doing for your little brother, for somebody else, and try and make it fun for him rather than just being really moody and ruining it for him. And I know that the character's arc does make him a little bit more bearable towards the end, but it shouldn't take a horrific experience like this to make you realize that, there's other people in the world. So this guy gets no sympathy from me. Actually, the whole family dynamic of slightly broken home was kind of weird, and it just generally felt like every single adult bar Chris Pratt was just too busy with things they'd rather be doing than looking after these kids. We had Wilson Fisk here as the voice of, ooh, let's weaponize these things and sell them to the military. Nothing wrong will go wrong for sure. Like, there's always one, isn't there? But honestly, even though this character is a cliche, it didn't bug me too much. It just kind of made me laugh. Like, I did think it was extra stupid that at one point this guy is in the middle of a dinosaur-themed shitstorm. Like, the dinosaurs are completely out of control at this stage, and he's clearing out the labs. He's, like, filling his pockets with vials of dinosaur DNA, still talking about how they should make smaller Indominus Rexes because clearly weaponizing dinosaurs is a wonderful idea. It's not until an actual bloodthirsty raptor walks through the door that the penny starts to drop with this guy, and even then he's like,
We're on the same side, right?
to the raptor! Like, look at this raptor's face! And I'm going like, oh, now we're on the same side, are we? We're on the same fucking side? Just half an hour ago you're trying to ride me around like a fucking pony, but now we're on the same side. The rich dummy with his helicopter was a pretty useless character. I mean, like, they strapped a minigun into this thing and then he just crashed.
We don't need anyone else.
Thanks, rich dummy! Like, I think some of the humor they try to add in here to lighten the tone a little bit didn't always work, but, it wasn't too bad. But overall, none of these things could really put me off this movie. Rewatching it again, though, I did remember the opening shot, like, not the shot with the eggs, but the shot where the foot comes down, and you think it's a dinosaur foot, and then you realize it's like a little bird, a crow or something, and then it flies off. And that made me think of the Pyroraptor. Check out my video on that if you haven't already. I started to wonder if the whole thing is going to come full circle in Dominion, and how it might end up with the dinosaurs making that evolutionary leap to becoming birds, and maybe that's when we see some of the dinosaurs take off and take flight. I don't know, we'll see. Either way, I'm really looking forward to it. Anyway, guys, make sure you subscribe because I'm going to be reviewing Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom as soon as I possibly can. And possibly even looking at Camp Cretaceous, although there are, 4 seasons of that and a 5th one coming out soon. So that might be too much to get through in the time, but let's see. So until then, let me kindly invite you to get out of my head, and I will see you very soon for the next one. Thank you very much for watching, and cheerio, bye!